going back to our Hoosier State there, Tim. And that is coming up in November. But if you don't have a young person in your life or in your home, I just want to share a part of the letter that a young person wrote. We just recently completed confirmation. And this was a letter that she addressed to the Archbishop. And in this letter, you will hear different parts of these components. You'll hear certain things. But I wanted to share this with you to kind of give you a feel of this is what really some of them think. I participated in several classes and activities with our parish. And in our class, we cleansed our hearts in our prayer service. We let go of our thoughts and worries during this prayer time so we could spend our focus on God. We were becoming closer to God and confessing our love for Him. And we wanted our sole focus to be of Him. We also learned to put others first. While participating in the service activities, one of them really struck me. Our parish collected coats to give to those in need in St. Vincent de Paul, and so along with many others in our class, I helped pack up the donated coats and delivered them to St. Vincent de Paul. I wasn't exactly sure what to expect because I've never been to a homeless shelter before. I thought we were just taking the coats, dumping them off, and then leaving, which really didn't inspire me. However, we took a tour through the building where we got to see the things that the public doesn't. We went to the soup kitchen where several people were lined up, excited to get their food. These people have no idea where their next meal was going to come from, so they were excited that they even had a chance to be fed. Yet, I selfishly ate a lot of food at home and didn't appreciate any of it. In fact, sometimes I would complain about not having the food I wanted. These people don't care about what they want. They need this. It showed me that I need to stop putting my wants in front of others' needs. It really impacted me, and I promised myself I would be grateful for anything I received. I have the privilege of working with a lot of your young people, and it is an honor, and this letter, I hope, inspires you. Next up, the Stewardship Committee with Louisville and Maggie Todd.
Because Joe just told me I have to go really fast. And I already talked fast, so I apologize if I'm going a little bit too fast, but I'm going to do my best, Joe. My name is Amy Weazel. I'm the current stewardship chair, and I accepted this role last year with a lot of hesitation. I was a little nervous about it, but I'm glad that I did. It was a very pivotal year in stewardship, and we accomplished a lot, and I'm excited to share some of this with you. But first I want to explain a little bit about the stewardship team, who we are and what we do. Our purpose is as a wisdom body. We design, we implement, and we maintain the stewardship process in the parish. All of this is to accomplish our greater goal of bringing people closer to God. After we switched to tuition last year, our committee went through a bit of an identity crisis. Although no one really wanted to focus on money in the past, we often did because we had financial problems. Money certainly helps maintain many of the important ministries, including educating our children, the next generation of Catholics, as well as caring for those less fortunate. But we were extremely excited that our energy would be refocused on all aspects of stewardship. However, we didn't really know where to begin, so we decided to go on a retreat. Under the caring and loving guidance of Nick Eve, we came to a better understanding of what stewardship really is. Stewardship is being a disciple and bringing the good news of Jesus Christ to the world. Our responsibility as a team is to bring that to our parishioners. But we also struggled with the definition of parishioner. We didn't want to bring the message to just active parishioners. We wanted to bring it to everyone. So we recommended to Father Martin that parishioner not be further defined as active and non-active. A parishioner is simply someone who signs up during renewal, someone who wants to be a member of our parish. With this in mind, we have changed many of the stewardship processes in the parish. This changes how we charge tuition. It changes the tracking of Mass, tracking of stewardship hours, and commitments, and it will change our renewal and new parishioner welcome process going forward. There is certainly a responsibility for parishioners to follow through on their commitments, but it is not our responsibility to track those commitments. rather it's theirs. This responsibility is grounded in our Catholic faith. God asks us to give him Sunday and to go to Mass every week. God asks us to give him a first portion of financial resources to him. And God gave us each talents that he asks us to use for his benefit. Therefore, we are accountable to him. As a parish, we simply ask our parishioners to discern their gifts and make a commitment to God once per year. Lastly, we were asked to create a fundraising policy that helps organize the fundraising environment to help our many ministries while limiting the number of fundraising requests of our parishioners. This committee was a collaboration with the Finance Council, PTO, School Board, CAM, Men's Club, and Moms. We were successful in creating a great fundraising policy, and you will be able to see that on the website. We will also be communicating this process with all of our ministry leaders. Which brings us to the biggest goal that we have for the following year, for this year. We want to streamline the communication in the parish. My slides are messed up, sorry. We want to streamline the communication in the parish and train our leaders consistently. This training begins with an understanding of what stewardship is. We feel our biggest achievement this year was in our understanding of stewardship. A steward is someone, an owner gives responsibility to care for property, manage affairs, making as much as possible, and sharing the resources. Nikki brought us to an understanding we call the 5 I's of stewardship. And that's what I want to share with you tonight. Here at St. Patrick, the first I of stewardship is to imitate. We imitate Christ when we care for others in need. The second I of stewardship is inspire. We inspire others and ourselves when we are Christ-centered. The third I is inform. We inform ourselves and others when we take care of our church's well-being through education. The fourth I is involve. We involve everyone when we proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ. And lastly, we invite. We invite everyone to be a disciple of Jesus Christ through our parish stewardship. So in closing, the stewardship team is simply here to provide ways for everyone to be good stewards. Our final goal, as is everyone's final goal, is to spread the good news of Jesus Christ. And with that, I'd like to introduce our Finance Council Chair, Tim Camposano.
Hello everyone, my name is Tim Camposano, currently the Finance Chair, Cluster Rep. With me is Nagy Colvick, our Business Manager. Nagy and I work hand in hand on a lot of finance issues here at St. Patrick. We're going to take a few minutes just to give some accomplishments from 2010, talk about some things we need to do better, and some of the things we're going to be working on over the next 6 to 12 months. Major accomplishments for 2010, we increased funding both to our school and some of our other ministries. Our revenue expense comparison looks much better this year than it has the last 3 or 4 years. Talk about that. And the improvements we've made to our facility and our technology here at St. Patrick. We'll talk about that. Funding for our school. Elaine will cover some of this in her talk, so I'm not going to hit on all the highlights here. One thing I do want to mention is the very last item. We allocated $150,000 for financial aid. So one of the big fears when we went from a tuition, or from a stewardship model to a tuition model, was what about those parishioners who really, really benefited from the stewardship model and needed some help? So we set aside $150,000. We've used approximately $95,000 to $100,000 of that allocation. And we have a very detailed process that families go through to apply, still be a part of this parish, even though they may not have the means to pay the full tuition. Our funding for other ministries and obligations, we thankfully resumed our loan payments. We had stopped one of the loan payments, principal payments, for fiscal year 2010. We've now resumed that. current debt is sitting at approximately $4.5 million. When I joined St. Patrick a little over 8 years ago, that debt number was closer to $10 million. So we have done a significant job of paying that down in the last 7 or 8 years. At the current rate, we will pay a little over $550,000 for debt reduction this year. And at the current rate, we should have the debt eliminated in 8 to 9 years, somewhere in that neighborhood. We also increased funding for a new parish staff position. So that position has not been filled, but the job description is being worked on, and we should expect that to happen. Something else that's not on the slide that I thought of a few minutes ago that I want to make sure everybody was aware of. We also purchased a new rectory. For the first time, St. Patrick has a rectory. Many of you may not know that. Father Martin probably has the coolest rectory in the entire Archdiocese. It is one of these condos on Beckley Station, right to your left as you get close to Thornton's. Another little known secret is Monday through Thursday, he cooks dinner for 13 people. Himself and the first 12 to show up. Please stop by, knock on his door. He'd love to hear from you. Our revenue and expense comparisons. Our stewardship pledges declined because we went to a tuition-based model. Our school fees have increased, obviously for the same reason. We're now charging tuition in our school. And total revenue has increased. For the first 6 months of this fiscal year versus the first 6 months of last fiscal year, our revenue is approximately $3.4 million versus last year when it was $2.9 million. On the expense side, we knew our expenses would be up because we had neglected things for a number of years. So we've put money back into things. Our expenses are up $2.6 million through the first 6 months versus $2.2 million. The good news is our revenue is up more than our expenses. We currently have a net positive for the budget of approximately $111,000 as of the end of January. Our facility and technology accomplishments. First, I want to focus on the Building the Future of Hope. Of the main 5 areas we set out as a parish to initially make progress in, we are on target to make progress in all 5 of those areas, just at a reduced amount. Our worship space, as many of you know, no longer leaks. We have painted, put new fabric, and put kneelers in. That was all part of the Building the Future of Hope money. We fixed the youth ministry roof. Our school and parish now has new network cabling to the tune of about $73,000. Our kids can now all be on the internet at the same time in school, and it actually works. So we've made significant progress there. Our security system is probably 90% complete. Unfortunately, we're about 3 weeks late from the most recent break-in that we had, but that should be finished here in the next few weeks. And then our $50,000 additional debt payment has been funded from the Building a Future of Hope money as well. A couple other things that were done outside the Building a Future of Hope money. We redid the gym floor, refurbished it, stripped it all the way down, re-waxed, repainted the decals and all the stripes. And someone already mentioned we did redo the nursery for our Sunday school kids. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Nagy. He's going to talk to you about a few things we need to do and we're working on for next year.
Thank you, Dan. I'm much younger than Dan and Cindy. I've been here only 6 years. So my job is to support the various ministries that you heard about. And this is what I do every day. So whether I'm working on the worship space to eliminate the leak that we have, to replace the drywall, to paint the worship space, or to work on a security system, this is what we do to support the ministries. We are blessed to have those ministries. I'm blessed to work with you and others every single day.